Hi Scorpio and Scorpio rising. Here is a general look at your solar chart for April 2015. And I think this month you can get a lot more done if you team up. It can be pretty dynamic, it can be lively, but as long as you cooperate and not step on each other's toes, then you can be very productive and you can really get a lot done between the two of you. And it's quite a practical energy this month as well, particularly for the first part going on into the end of the third week. The sun until the 20th is in an area where you've got to roll up your sleeves and get your act together. You've got to deal with all the niggly details, and yeah, you could find that the devil is in the detail, but also God is in the detail. In fact, God gets everywhere. So that means that you've just got to maybe apply skills, learn new skills, but there's likely to be somebody there to lend you a helping hand. There's going to be a total lunar eclipse on the 4th, and that indicates change and improvements can be made through quiet time, downtime, nurturing time, healing time, inner reflection, or letting go completely of the baggage or of the problem, and then just plunging yourself into the music or the book or being in nature or whatever it is which absorbs you and then allows your great wisdom from your maybe higher self or deeper self, however you want to see it, to just bubble up to the surface without all that static coming in from the stressing mind, right? So this eclipse, which can be unpacking goodies for you over several months to come, because it's quite an important one. It's the third of a sequence of 4 eclipses, unpacking for you over the months to come the improvement and the change that you want to be taking, right? So using your vision board maybe, and envisioning in general, and listening to your dreams very much, and maybe using that symbology from the dream world, and then just kind of working on that. You're very good at latching onto something. And I'm not going to use the word obsessive, but in a highly focused way, in a very intense way, not let it go until you've got there. You're a very determined sign. So that would be the advice anyway for the way to be working. So in the run up to the eclipse, take one positive step, do one positive thing, or write down something of how you want these changes and improvements to pan out over the coming months, and then not just literally sort of sit back and let cook for several months, but you'll be on board with this yourself. But this will at least allow the wave of the eclipse energy to sort of weave that string of conscious intention through your future. Mercury is in the same area as the Sun, thinking about practical issues, thinking about equipment, maybe repairs, maintenance, having more to do with service type providers. Health as well is another thing that this could mean, that you are conversing or just having more interaction with those sorts of people. Practical advice coming from you as well, not just towards you, and just being very, very busy in your mind with the to-do list. And then Mercury moves from the 15th and goes into your opposite sign, where Mars will be all month, really livening up that area, meaning that personal professional exchanges are likely to be more dynamic. And you've got to be careful because of Mars's impatient, feisty nature, that you're not too hasty with the knee-jerk response, because somebody isn't kind of doing it as per your kind of plan, or it might be the other way around. You might get that Mars energy coming at you through somebody else, that rather assertive, even sometimes aggressive energy. But you know, all things sort of being considered and working out in a more balanced way, a more diplomatic way, you and someone, or maybe it's, you know, one-to-one, a series of one-to-ones, or whatever it is, can actually cover a lot of ground and get a lot done. So as long as you are not lacking in caution, and as long as you don't sort of dive in head first without thinking things through. It might be in the love department as well for some of you, especially up until the 12th. I have to say that. Up until the 12th, Venus is definitely in one of her strongest positions, and affairs of the heart will definitely be favored. And you and someone could be definitely feeling closer rapport, or maybe it's just you and someone, you know, you can do business with this person. This person is supportive because Venus is supportive. And another way this is working is that Venus does bring goodies to you, you know, resources, material goodies in your direction. That includes money, of course, as well. So that's up until the 12th. And that does rather shave some of Mars's sharper edges off. But when when Venus leaves there, and then it's just Mercury and Mars from the 15th, Mercury goes in there, then you can feel a little bit more tension in that area there. But having said that as well, Venus moves into an area of kind of more emotional depth. So with Venus there, you can feel more harmony deeper within yourself. So you're not so likely to feel touchy or grumpy or maybe somebody else. In general, it can mean things become, you know, closer, more involved, and maybe for some of you, again, in the love department, rather more intense and sizzly. But also just with somebody that you are, you know, with in a sort of who's a pal or who you're working with, you might feel as though you're getting closer to them. And then because of that, this gives you insight into their world, okay? And also, the other thing about Venus here is that it's a good time for you to maybe confide or trust somebody with your sort of secret feelings about something. And maybe this has to be an impartial person who's detached, you know, or maybe not. It just depends. And this is also a good energy materially for you. So Venus, previously up until the 12th, is a good energy materially, but particularly from the 12th onwards, it might mean that you are not only feeling more emotionally, the tendency is to feel more emotionally balanced, but also for there to be better energies supporting something with joint financial interests, property as well, jointly held interest in a property. Or you know, if it's a rental type thing, then of course it is somebody else's, but it's kind of yours for the time being, if you see what I mean. Or it might be with an outside agency. So if you need funding, or if you need to sort of pour oil on troubled waters with any of those sorts of people to do with money, property, and maybe people that you don't know personally, then this would be a good time to do it. But even with people that you don't know personally, and this is a good time for sort of legacies and inheritances, and for maybe, you know, getting a refund or a rebate or something like that. And another way this works, it might not be so much like any of that at all, is that this is the area of resurrection, of renovation, okay? So this is a good sort of fixer-upper opportunity energy as well, where somebody's going to help you with that, because Venus does like to have a pal along, you know. And it can also mean it's resuscitation, it's recharging. However, there is a little tax to pay here, because one has to understand that a previous setup or a previous plan or a previous expectation or previous hope maybe has to be tweaked. I'm not saying the whole thing's got to be chucked out, but has to be tweaked, because always the tax on this renewal in this area here, even with nice soft Venus who likes to provide, is that we let go of something. So you might have to chuck some stuff out, quite literally. It might be like that, or maybe it's just out of your own mind. So whatever it is, out of your own heart, and then the Venus energy can really work very much better for you. Now, for all of the signs in this month, I did another video called April 2015 in a nutshell, right? For all of the signs, there is energy in the first week and into a little bit of the second week, particularly for the cardinal signs. And you're not a cardinal sign, but you might happen to know that you've got a planet or important point on a cardinal sign. So there can be this feeling of surprise, the unexpected. Experimentation is a way to use that very volatile energy of unpredictability, which is the Uranian energy, simply because the Sun and Mercury are going over Uranus and then over Pluto. And then from the sort of latter part of the first week and into the first part of the second week, you get more of an energy which might kind of get you deep down in your gut, in your sort of in the pit of your tummy. Fleetingly, I must say. This is a very swiftly passing transit, but you feel, because you're a Scorpio and you can carry a lot inside, so you might feel really a bit bugged by something, right? And that's between the 5th and the 8th. So the way to sort of maybe turn that one around is, if you feel that there's some kind of conditions around you which is coercing you into changing something, or putting pressure on you, or you're just bugged by something, let something go. You might have to just well, I think probably you will, and sort of, if you built in more than you needed in the first place, or maybe you didn't realize you had, but have a look at it, whether this is an emotional relationship, or whether this is to do with outer phenomena, like stuff. You need to let go of the thing that is really not of most value to you, and that would be the only way I can sort of describe that. And it is important to be flexible and not obsess, not get blinkered, and also to over anything you're feeling, over anything you're thinking, because open-mindedness and flexibility would be a good idea between the 5th and the 8th especially, but it might be a little bit before and a little bit afterwards as well. It depends. Yes, so as long as you are aware of that. And then from the 20th, the Sun is going into the same area as Mars is, so that will underpin this interaction, this more dynamic, lively interaction, where you're being diplomatic and you are having a nice boundary there. Good fences make good neighbors. That's a good one, actually. It's a very old one, but I think it really works. And you and another could be, teaming up and getting things done together. But also the other way it can work is that there is this mutual interaction and attraction there going on there as well. And then Saturn has gone out of your sign and will be out until June. And then this means that there's new challenges related to the material area of life, the finances, but gradually this side of things will take on a new shape. And a new shape is what's got to happen here, because Saturn, can tear down and can put obstacles in our way, but also she loves to build. That's where she can really deliver. That's when she's in a good mood, doing what she likes to do, building. But if your ground is not prepared with the foundations, then you've got to decide what's your priority, what's of most value here at this stage in my life, for me materially, for me in that physical material side of life, and then decide where the ground's got to be and then get it cleared and get those footings put in for this new structure. This transit will be going on until 2017, so it gives you plenty of time to gradually be building this thing in this very material area, but it's the security, your security in life. It is also to do with you taking your talent more seriously. You got a talent for something. You might not call it a talent. You might just call it something that you have a sort of good leaning towards. You always like to do it, but you know you're not good enough because you're not properly trained. Well, this is your golden opportunity now, especially with where Jupiter is. Jupiter is in your career and area, and it's also the area of your overall life direction. Doors flinging open all over the shop. So, and then you've got to separate the wheat from the chaff. But if you don't have the underlying faith in your own self-worth and your own ability to do X, Y, Z, then you can't take the top slot from what Jupiter is kind of trying to bring towards you, you see. You Scorpios born between the 25th, that's it, 25th to the 29th of October, or with 2 to 5 degrees rising, going to feel the energy of a Saturn the most at the moment. And you Scorpios born between the 4th to the 7th of November, or with 12 to 14 degrees rising, going to feel the energy of Jupiter at the moment. And this is the time, actually, with this transit of Jupiter, which comes round in that part of your solar chart once every 12 years, for you to realize that this is your opportunity to start doing things externally in life that you earn a salary from and that you can put food on the table from, that you inwardly identify with. So even though there might be delays and obstacles in the area of getting skilled up with those things that you are actually inherently talented to do, and also money problems as well, you're having to really pull your belt in there. She loves to build. So if you just keep that steely glint in your eye and overcome the hurdles, you will get there in the end. You will get there. And that's it for April. If you know your rising sign and your moon sign, listen to those. And also the basics of this is written up on my website if you want to check any dates or anything. And I'll see you the next time.